You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom. This is episode 36, and today we have a special guest, John, the Retro Bro. John, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your channel?
Yeah, what's going on to everybody and you guys and everyone listening on the Game Tenants Podcast? Do you even Game Tenants Bro? This is actually one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. I probably maybe listen to 5 throughout the week, and you guys have been on the list for a while, so I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I'm the Retro Bro. Used to be gaming through the decades, but I do have a YouTube channel. It's pretty much lately just encompassing streams and some vlog style talks, but that's about it. And then I do run the retrobrogaming.com, where we have some emulation stuff we're working on as far as different types of Raspberry Pis and just kind of getting that out to the people, you know.
Yeah,
so
nice.
And not for those that don't want to spend, hundreds of dollars on certain games, there is that other option out there for them.
Yes, and it comes in a nice package with the shell, controllers, pretty much everything you need.
Out of the box, ready to go.
Yeah, I want to check it out. I've been thinking about it for a while. Just need to get me some fundage.
Yes. It's always the challenge.
Yeah. Yes. Holding on to the fundage, that is.
Cool. So then just real quick, what I want to do here, kind of here on out for the podcast is after our just initial little introduction, I want to start doing a segment of community comments. So anytime we get comments on YouTube or if anybody posts on like Facebook, whatever, we are going to try to make it a point to talk about those comments if they're something we can actually talk about, nothing too crazy, whatever. But so leave us some comments and, get your internet famedom.
Shout outs.
Yeah. So then we will, I guess, just jump into the next little bit and just kind of talk about what we've been up to regarding gaming and any other worth mentioning things. So as per usual with the guest, John, we will let you take this away. So what have you been doing the last couple of weeks? What kind of games you've been playing?
Well, life and gaming has been crazy, man. But gaming's been good. I'm in Arizona, so this time of year is like prime gaming for me because you don't want to go outside.
Oh yeah, I guess.
So usually what I'll do is I'll pick I'll pick a stack of like maybe 3, 4, 5 games and just kind of commit to those for the summer. And one of the guests you guys had on a few weeks ago, Black Metal Gamer, he'd been bugging me for the longest time to play the God of War series.
Mm-hmm.
So I found God of War 3, the remaster, at one of the local game stores for like $15. I had some trade-in credit. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this. And I had the first 2 on the PS2. So I've been playing. I just actually finished the entire series. I started those probably like the first week of June. I played through that entire series, which was amazing. I love those games now. And I just started playing Doom like 2 nights ago. I finally got around to playing that game a year and a half. Yeah, the new one.
Hell yeah.
Newish.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm pretty good on it.
Doom. I'm liking it so far.
Cool, because I know I saw a post that you weren't feeling it at first.
The first few levels, man, it's it's mazy, and you expect Doom games to be mazy because that's how they are. But I just feel, it just seems really unbalanced for like the first 3 levels. It kind of picked up towards the end of the 3rd, but everyone's telling me like, hey, give it some time. And I'm probably going to start the 4th level here tonight. So I like it, but I was hoping to have a little bit more action, but supposedly it picks up. So we'll find out. To be determined, I guess.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Well, I liked what I played of it. I'm probably about as far as you are right now, actually. That was before the busy times, we'll call that.
Yeah.
I was
We're
that
having
was, that was it's still in my Xbox right now, waiting to get played. And I'm totally on board with that God of War recommendation. That's one of my favorite series. That's actually what sold me a PS3 was God of War 3 was coming out. So
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because when the first, I can't remember if it was the first or second God of War came out, I was deployed because I was in the military, and I never got them. But when I got back, it was like 2005, and I only did like a little bit of gaming. I was like early Call of Duty era, and so like I was big into SOCOM back then, so I never played the God of Wars. Well, then the 360 came out, and I went and got a 360 because it was the new hardware, so I wanted to get it. But I bet you, like I think if I would have played the first two God of Wars, I probably would have held out for a PS3 at the time. Looking back,
I have only played the first God of War. I started playing the second one years ago, and for some reason I didn't finish it. And
how dare you?
I really need to go back and play through those because I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. I think I have them all, including the Ghost of Sparta Chains of Olympus combo.
Yeah, those are the PSP ones, right?
And Ascension.
Yeah,
Ascension is the last one. Yeah.
maybe I don't have that one.
So are you stoked for the new one coming out? Does it look appealing to you?
Oh yeah, that's it. That's gonna be an Amazon pre-order for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, and I'm big into the Norse feel. Kind of, I feel like they played out the Greek god. They killed like all the
Yeah, all the Greek gods.
Everything's killed in Sparta and Greece.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
It's a 15-year-old game. If you haven't played it by now, get off your ass.
Yeah,
he doesn't like the gods. That's the main takeaway from that series. Not feeling the gods. Yeah, actually, when my wife and I first got together, that was one of the games she really liked watching me play. So she watched me the entirety of God of War 1 and God of War 2.
awesome.
So she was stoked when God of War 3 came out. And I think the reason I didn't finish it is because I kind of like would play it when she could watch me and then play something else so that she didn't miss out and go, oh, what did I miss? And I'd have to explain 6 hours of gameplay or something.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it to the side about 3/4 of the way through and still have yet to get back to it, which is a bummer. I'm going to have to plow through that one and Ascension before the new one comes out for sure.
Well, I don't know if you'll need to play the expansion ones, the PSP ones.
Shh, I will.
Well, I mean, in order to get the main story.
Yeah.
But I am kind of curious how they're going to work that new one in there.
Yeah,
Especially with the way 3 ends.
Yeah, I did have to, I did play through the PSP ones, but those weren't really important enough that she sat and watched me play those ones, so I didn't really feel bad. They're kind of just there. And when that game just starts, the first one, Chains of Olympus, it just kind of feels like it's just starting to ramp up, and you're like, oh, I beat it. That's the end. I've never felt such a drop off on a game where I've just, I thought I was just starting to get somewhere. It turns out I got to where I was going, and I'm done.
I think Gears 4 did that to me. I got that same feeling when I played the 4th Gears.
Yeah, the end of that really kind of rushed itself. If I feel too, but I still loved it along the way. They changed up a lot of stuff, and I was actually kind of bummed there wasn't a Gears 5 announced yet, but
soon.
In due time.
Yes. So cool. And Jason, what have you been up to?
Oh, you know me, not gaming.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to be part of a gaming podcast when I don't get to game, but the light is on the horizon. I've got my game room in order now, just about. By the next podcast, I should be well into a few of my big gaming goals. I've been playing a little bit, but nothing really to comment about even. I've been playing a lot more of the Wii U with my kids. Anytime I get some time home, I'm spending it with them because I've been working the 2 jobs.
Mm.
So just a lot of family time and mostly kid stuff, the Lego games and the Kirby and a little bit of Yoshi's Woolly World again. Blah blah blah.
Sure.
Nothing I really want to be digging into. I did try that Marvel Heroes Omega. It's a free-to-play game on the PS4.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it just came out a little while ago. I remember hearing about it coming out, and I thought it was coming out only on Xbox, but apparently it must be only on PS4, because that's where I found it. And it's a lot like the Ultimate Alliance games, but it's free to play, but it's one of those games where, you know, a lot of the characters are locked, and you can unlock them through playing, but if you're lazy, you can buy them. But they're like stupid expensive to buy individually, especially like, you know,
$5 a character.
No, try like they're in packs, like $27 packs. Like,
oh jeez.
The Deadpool pack, I think it comes with like him and one or two other people, and you're like, wow, nah. From what I played, I guess it's still in the beta stage or early access or some kind of crap, and it seemed cool for that. But besides that, nothing really much. I've been kind of looking into a few other avenues of games and stuff, but
cool.
Picking them up, not playing them, stockpiling, I guess.
Yeah.
But, very, very soon. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to slow down on working so many shifts and taking 1 or 2 days a week where I tell them I can't work and actually having a little bit of time at home and to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to go crazy, so I really, really
all
need
work
to
and no play makes
literally
Corpse Slug go crazy.
makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming along, but
Cool.
I feel very boring when I talk about what I've been up to.
And a dry spell.
What have you been up to, sir? I'm sure something much more awesome. I know of some great news you have for us.
Yeah, and I apologize to anybody who might like follow my Facebook and listen to the podcast and watch YouTube, because I'm going to talk about this on all avenues just because I'm super excited. I won't talk about it too much in the podcast just because I do want to make a video.
But you have to mention it.
I got to mention it to keep
tradition.
my streak. To keep my streak going, and that is, of course, Shantae. So I picked up Shantae for the Game Boy Color finally. Long story short, or not even really a long story, one of my friends sent me a message that a local game store had a copy, and they had the copy that they were holding it out to take to a local convention. So, of course, I had to get a hold of somebody and figure out what was going on. Messaged one of the co-owners, another friend of mine, and after pleading my case, showing pictures of my Shantae shrine, linking one of my videos with me wearing my Shantae shirt,
Snuggling your Shantae waifu pillow.
Yes, she talked to the other owner, and he's like, "Okay, let's make it happen." So basically, I did a trade for it. So it's unfortunate to lose a couple of rare games, but
yeah,
like I always say, it's easier to replace a cheaper rare game than a like $350 rare game.
Well,
especially one that you don't see very often.
Yes, a legitimately rare game.
Legitimately rare, not overhyped and overpriced.
Not Earthbound rare.
Yeah, not like, oh yeah, rare because what? No one bought it, and even on clearance for $20.
Yeah.
And now they're going for 200. Great game. Not ripping on it, but not rare by any means.
Yeah, and $350, is it worth $350? Absolutely not, but whatever. I got
it's up to $350 now. Holy shit!
Yeah. I just pull it up on price charting. It looks like loose is about $320. It's at $320, $350 ballpark.
Paid $5 a year ago. God damn! I like to hear that. I'm glad I didn't pay. $400 is what I paid. Damn it!
Right.
I could never pay. That much for a game.
Right.
I can't think of one game I want that bad.
Right. And like I said, that's why I traded.
I think my golden rule was when I used to really collect was as long as I'm not as long as I don't get in any debt, I'm not taking any clothes off my kids or food off the table, and bills.
Right.
As long as bills are still paid, you know what? Hey, man, if you want to if that's where you want to put your money, more power to you. You know, there is something to say about, you know, kind of seeking stuff out and finding it like that.
Yeah. Well, like, non-collector's item, non-collector's edition, my maximum is $100, and I can't even name a game I give you $100 for. But that's like my maximum, I think.
Yeah, and that's one of my weaknesses is those stupid collector's editions that I keep buying.
Oh yeah, well, I was pretty when we got them at the Walmart I work at really regularly. I was way more tempted, but now when they're on the internet and they're far away, I can behave myself a little bit more. Like I'd be like, oh, I'm not getting that game day one. Wait, is that a collector's edition? Oh, I better get it now then, because I won't be able to find it later. So there's a lot of games I bought a lot sooner than expected because of collector's editions being so cool.
Yeah.
But now they just kind of scaled back and just don't get them at all.
Yeah, it seems like the whole collector's edition seems kind of slowing down. Maybe.
No, well, they're actually becoming collectible. If you want it bad enough, you have to order it online because in store, besides like GameStop or something, you're not gonna really. I don't really see them when I go in like other Walmarts or Target or anything that much anymore either, unless it's like a Call of Duty or something like that. That's about it. But then again, I live in a small town where I'm not going to see much of anything when I go in any store.
Yeah.
So. But I think we did pretty good for selling them off. It's not like they had to, you know, clear a lot of that kind of stuff out. And if they did, I bought it, so I didn't see any harm in that.
Yeah. So then, besides that, just want to mention I put out another pickup video. It was pretty much everything that I've gotten since Midwest Gaming Classic up till now. So it was a lot of kind of random things. There was a Minnesota Retro Gamer meetup. I got some Kickstarter things. A lot of random stuff. Kind of some oddities. So if anybody hasn't checked that out, of course, I would encourage you to do so. As far as gaming goes, I have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm quite a bit further, and the game is absolutely fantastic. Like, holy crap, what a cool game.
Awesome. I still can't wait to try it out.
That'll be after the Uncharted series. I'll probably play that.
Yeah, it's essentially... There's definitely comparisons to, like, some of the gameplay to, say, like, the new Tomb Raider games. Not as puzzle. Like, there's pretty much, like, no puzzles. Not a whole lot of, like, crazy rock climbing sort of stuff, but just that, like, open world kind of action, a little bit more, like, survival focused, where, like, a lot of the mechanical prehistoric mammals, like, will rip you a new one. Like, they're no joke. It's kind of frustrating at the same time because I want to be, like, you know, destroying all these things and harvesting their parts, but, like, I get my ass kicked, and managing resources can be a little tricky at times, but story is pretty cool. Like, the ball's really just starting to kind of roll. I went to, like, you know, from the starting area, you have your initial story, and then a lot of these, like, open world games, like, kind of the next thing you do is you go to this big city that's off in some far land, and pretty much I just did that. So it's kind of opening up a lot more of the in-depth aspects of the story, and you know, graphically, visually, it's awesome. Like, there's many times where I just, like, stop and look at, like, some of these vistas, and characters are interesting. I really like the main character. Well done. I know before the game was released, there was a lot of people kind of making fun of some of the, like, character animations. It was almost like what they were doing with
voice acting too. That was another one.
Yeah, and there's a couple instances where it's a little weird, but for the most part, I think it's pretty dang good. And yeah, I've been making it a point to squeeze in almost like an hour a day, which might not sound like a lot to some people, but, you know.
To me, that sounds heavenly.
And then, of course, I'm still full-on addicted to Friday the 13th. Unfortunately, I think I'm playing more Friday the 13th than I am Horizon Zero Dawn, where typically I'll play, like, if I have, like, 3 hours at the end of the night, I'll play, like, an hour of Horizon and then 2 hours of Friday the 13th. And it's fun. More of my friends are getting in on it, so it's always fun to be able to play online games with your friends.
Yeah, that's more enticing for sure. So
Yeah.
now that you've played more of Horizon, do you find the comparisons with Breath of the Wild are pretty founded, or is it just because they're two open world games?
I would say from what I've seen for Breath of the Wild, so we played, I don't know, it seemed like 8-10 hours or so.
Yeah, 6 to 8 hours, I'd say. Yeah.
Didn't get super far into the story, but Breath of the Wild is a lot more open world.
Okay.
A lot less story involved. A lot like there's like side quests and things like that, but not like story side quests that kind of build into the lore of the world necessarily.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot more like letting you explore and go at your own pace than other Zelda games where like you felt like a rush to. Oh man, I really got to go find that dungeon.
But there's definitely a lot of comparisons. I could say for, if somebody played Breath of the Wild and like, oh, I just wanted a little bit more, like Horizon would be a good game to check out. Or if someone played Horizon and is like, little too much story, maybe. Even though like pretty much most of the time I'm just like running around doing random stuff and exploring.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone's like, a little less story for Horizon, then like Breath of the Wild would probably be like, the perfect way to go. Definitely, from what I've played from both of them, like very, very high contenders for like Game of the Year material.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because I think when you were here, we mainly just like went after shrines and kind of just dicked around and figured out what you can and can't do, and kind of figured out the limitations of things. So yeah. True. Yeah, true that we didn't get like very much of the story aspect into it.
My biggest thing with Breath of the Wild was I could put that game on for an hour or two if I wanted to and just do nothing of the story and just explore and wander around, but still feel like I accomplished stuff because the level of exploration that's incorporated into that game is really crazy, man. Like I remember the first like hour or two that I was playing it, I had like a torch and I just swung it and I was in like a grassy field and it lit the grass on fire and it killed me. I was like, oh shit. Like you don't always see that in games, and I would prefer that over something that's graphically intensive, but you can't touch the environment. So
yes,
I had a lot of fun with it. Definitely, like you said, Game of the Year contender, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, big contender.
Yeah. So then, I guess, kind of jumping into some of our news topics here and related to Friday the 13th. That was really, really humorous that in the last podcast we were talking. Corpse Blood. Jason had asked if there was a retro Jason, and I said no, unfortunately there wasn't. And then it was like the next day or 2 days later, they announced that because of some of the problems that were happening, mainly on console versions of Friday the 13th, that they were basically doing kind of like a
thanks for sticking it out.
Yeah, sort of bonus where one of the Jasons gets a retro skin that looks comparable to the one on the NES. So, like the blue and purple.
Yeah.
His
one of the your toothbrush though.
Yeah, unfortunately, no toothbrush. But one of the cool things about the game is with Jason, when he's around counselors, proximity plays into this, but there's music that plays. So if Jason is, say he's way far away and he's getting towards you, you'll start to hear this music. And they changed the Jason music to be kind of like this retro new wave. There's a few little melodies that kind of are very similar to the NES game, but it's mostly original composition, but it's pretty neat. And then they gave all counselors 2 bonus sets of clothes, which, is just an aesthetic thing to make your character you're playing as a little bit more personalized, as it were, although everybody's using pretty much all those clothes now because they were the max level clothes for each counselor, so for like level 100. But still, another cool thing. And then they gave 13,000 CP. I think it means counselor points. I should probably know that in a game that I've put 100 hours into. But yeah, really cool thing. Just a nice little, gesture from the developers for the people who have been suffering from issues. And, the game has its bugs, but up to this point, I will say they're nothing that has turned me away from the game. Like, I'm still, I'm just loving the game. It's so fun. You'd think just like we talked about before, the idea doesn't sound like it's very long lasting, but
yeah,
I just can't pull myself away from it.
That's good. Well, a lot of people have been comparing it to Dead by Daylight. So
yes.
I was wanting to try that one too, but definitely I might check it out if I do end up getting more time because of the new job or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, I can't commit to any online only games, which is the only reason I haven't picked up Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Being a massive horror movie fan, that's that should have been a first day one buy for me, but
yeah,
unfortunately not now. But I'll probably want to check them both out, especially when the Michael Myers add-on comes out for Dead by Daylight too.
Sure.
So I can compare them in that way.
And then just a little quick mention, we talked about it before, but the Diablo 3 Necromancer is now available. We still haven't confirmed, because I actually haven't logged into Diablo 3 since it's released, if it's pay DLC or not. I think it is across the board, but we're not sure about the PC version.
I just read something that said the patch is out, so maybe it's free on PC. Maybe that's a dick move. Maybe it isn't. Maybe you do have to pay on PC.
And I probably won't. I'm gonna wait until. So Diablo, what they do is they do these things called seasons, where they set up kind of these goals that you can achieve to get special set items during
like
the
Overwatch
season.
does now.
Yes, and they'll reset. They have leaderboards and ladders and things like that. And the current season will be ending pretty soon, and when the new season starts, I think I will check out the Necromancer. Sounds like a good time to jump in. I need more time just to play through Horizon and.
No, definitely. You don't want to be sidetracking too much, or it makes games harder to go back to the more you spread yourself out between different games.
Yeah.
So yeah, give Horizon its love it needs, and then you can, you can really do what you want, but that's probably what I would do.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, sorry. Go away, Mom. But my friend Brendan will be ecstatic to hear about this, I'm sure. He's a huge Diablo fan, as I mentioned in the past, and he'll be big time looking into this.
Yeah. And then you had mentioned something that I had heard about, but I hadn't actually read up on in detail.
Yeah, they brought out another Monopoly. This time it's got a bit of a twist on it, as they've been trying to do a lot more recently. They actually have a gamer edition that's Mario themed, and this one has little add-ons you can buy that are little booster packs with a boss battle and stuff like that. It's very different looking. It's kind of interesting, but I don't see why they had to make that a Monopoly thing instead of just its own board game. It seems kind of lazy, honestly.
Jason, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who's what?
I was going to ask you who's making it. I wonder if it's being made by Hasbro or.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just Nintendo letting their license be used by Hasbro.
Okay.
But it looks, I know, it looks cool. I would like to try it, but I don't think I'd be buying it. If a friend had it, I'd be like, hey, let's try it out. But yeah, I'm not really rushing out to get it. It looks like basically a board game with amiibos now.
Yeah, I don't really understand the concept of the boss battles. It's Monopoly, but how do you integrate boss battles?
You landed on you landed on Mushroom Kingdom Castle, and now we got to battle it out.
But
get out your amiibos and your tokens, and we're gonna roll 20-sided dice.
I will say, how much do you want to bet that there are people out there right now that are buying up as many copies of this as they can, And if you go on eBay right now, they're selling them for twice as much as.
Well, I'm sure the booster pack. There's probably a rare booster pack that there's only a one in every 10 cases or something. I'm sure.
You gotta scalp the Nintendo stuffs.
It's gonna be a character that no one cares about too. It's just gonna be like a regular Koopa trooper or something, and they'll be like, "Yeah, he's super rare. He's gonna run you about $50, and all the other ones will run you like $8." So I don't know. Let's hope there's not someone doing that because it's just getting out of hand.
Yes.
That kind of shit. But I mean, it's a cool idea, but it seems like something that they could have just made their own board game out of. I mean, they have a video game that's a board game. You figure they can make the Mario Party board game at this point.
I'm surprised they haven't.
Yeah. But I mean, then, that's kind of like splitting it.
Yeah, why would you buy the video game?
Yeah, well, I don't have a Nintendo. I just buy the Mario Party board games. So they would probably make the board game $80 then to coincide with the game price. So you'd have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems, like I said, cool idea, but it seems like it could have been its own thing rather than trying to keep Monopoly alive.
Yes.
Because we needed a 200th version of Monopoly.
Right. Although I still do want the StarCraft and Metal Gear Monopolies.
Yeah. I'm guilty. I've got like Star Trek Monopoly, Star Wars Monopoly, Transformers old school Monopoly. I'm pretty sure I got a Transformers movie Monopoly, which when I have the Gen 1, what am I going to bother with that for? I also have Zelda Monopoly that I think I got for Christmas.
Has anybody told you have a problem?
I didn't buy these all. You know which one I bought? I bought Star Wars Monopoly when I was like, I don't know, when the special editions came out. so like 20 years ago now.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the only one I bought. I keep getting them as gifts, but whatever.
It's what it is.
Is what it is.
Yeah, so then not really a whole lot to say about this, but apparently there is not going to be any Mass Effect Andromeda DLC.
Assholes!
Which, I know the kind of the common view of the game is it's not a good game. Of course, you can go back and listen to previous episodes of the podcast where I kind of shared my thoughts on it. I think it's very... Yeah, I will. You know what? I would stand up for Mass Effect's honor.
Well, you know what's funny about that game is everyone I personally know that's played it has actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You have, at least in my circles anyways, and I know people who don't really play those games too much. And
yeah,
I'm curious. It's on sale right now for Microsoft for I think it's like $30 or $35. And I may seriously consider it because like I said, everyone I know, you and a few others, have actually enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a weird. I don't understand exactly what happened with the whole backlash against the game. I mean, there's glitches, but I mean, how many games don't have glitches? Like,
yeah, no game's perfect.
Yeah, I don't understand it, and it's super. I mean, I really hope at some point maybe they're just not going to do DLC and they're going to roll in those potential ideas into another sequel down the road because there's definitely some really interesting things that I want to see happen or I want them to expand on, especially how the story ended up. But overall, I can't really. I have like zero complaints about the game,
except for it's not getting DLC.
Yeah,
or a single player DLC at least is actually what I saw.
Yeah,
so they might still get multiplayer DLC. But,
there you go.
But to be honest, from my circle of friends, coworkers and stuff that have played it, the only real complaints I've heard from them besides, they kind of brushed off a little bit of animation stuff right at launch. They said the patch got rid of it. But their only complaints were the servers when they were playing an online match and couldn't find anyone or it booted them and the connection issues. That was the only actual legit complaints I heard from anybody. They're like,
I don't have like PS Plus, so I can't do online with a lot of games, so I didn't play any online.
That's not what Mass Effect's all about anyway. That's kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah.
In my
And
eyes,
that's
anyway.
that's like a 60-hour campaign. It's a pretty long
Yeah,
campaign.
it's a beefy game. If you're kind of like a completionist, I had a friend that took him a little over 100 hours. Me, I got
Yeah.
through it in I think it was right around 60, 65 or so. And
Yeah, I sometimes think online games require more time commitment than long multiplayer games do. Because at least for a single player game, at least for a single player campaign, I could just sit down and play for an hour. You know.
Right.
Exactly. Well, and it's all like Josh, like Church said, is you gotta. It's all up to how you play. If you're just blasting through the story, sure you could beat it in 50 hours or something. Just but if you're really an explorer like I am, I have to explore everything. When I go on a planet, I don't know if I'll be going back there, so I'm exploring everything.
Yeah.
When I go to when in the older ones, when I'd go to the Citadel, I'd go around the whole Citadel every time just to make sure I didn't miss a conversation with somebody or whatever.
Mhm.
So those games took me a lot longer, hours-wise, to beat than some of my friends, but I'd still beat it before them because I would go so hardcore into it.
Sure.
They'd be like, wow, you did all that? How'd you get all the achievements already? And well, I've been playing the shit out of it. And they're like, but yeah, you did everything? And I've been playing it every night, and I'm not even near that far. I'm like, yeah, but you've been playing how much every night?
Yeah.
I've been playing the night. I've been playing all night. And then they're like, yeah, I guess I'm not ridiculous. I'm like, that's where you fail then. So it's just I don't know. It's a game I'm still wanting to get into right away. It's top of my list. Probably top 5 games I want to get on the go right away here. So next up, I guess we better address the elephant in the room as far as what the internet's talking about game-wise.
Yeah, if you're a content creator and you're not making a clickbait video or a clickbait podcast about this, what are you doing?
Yeah, we're gonna call this the SNES Classic mini podcast just so we can get 1 million views on it.
Yeah.
And well, obviously that's what we're gonna talk about now. Is the SNES Classic was announced last week with 21 games, and one of them being an unreleased game, Star Fox 2.
Yeah.
So, what's your guys' thoughts on it?
Star Fox 2, I think, is a pretty neat inclusion, but I kind of question what that deal is because it's not available on eShop. It's not available in any collections or anything. We know this is not going to be available for most people who want to buy it.
Yes. It's their first official release of it. You can buy a repro of it, but
Yes.
even the repros run like $100, I think it was when I looked it up.
And
Because you need a special board for it that you can't just crap out or all the other boards, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just a lot like the what game was that I bought a repro of and I got a good deal on?
Star Ocean?
Oh, Star Ocean, yeah. Star Ocean was running a pretty expensive repro too because I think it needs the same kind of board or the chip or whatever is in it too. So because it really pushed the limits of the Super Nintendo apparently. But
John, what were you gonna say?
No, it's graphically, it's a pretty impressive looking game for the Super Nintendo. I'm kind of curious. I mean, because the ROM's been available for a while on certain websites, and
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see if this is going to just be a ROM dump of what's been available for a long time. I mean, there's rumors out there that they went back and they finished it, but
Yeah,
I
so
don't know if I see Nintendo doing that.
what I heard, another podcast I listened to, Easy Allies, they were talking about it a little bit, and apparently the original developer Argonaut made Star Fox 2. They were not made in-house Nintendo. And when they canceled Star Fox 2, they said it was essentially the game was pretty much done. They keep throwing out this 95% figure. It was 95% done. And what primarily hadn't been done was a lot of the Q&A testing So
Mhm.
when the SNES Classic was announced, somebody reached out to the guys who made the game, and they're like, hey, did you guys know that Nintendo was going to put this on the system? And they're like, yeah, we had no idea. So they weren't contacted. Apparently,
That's interesting.
Nintendo did some Q&A to it to some extent. I guess they, if anybody has seen the box art and the image that they're using for Star Fox 2, it looks a little janky.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's pretty neat. I know a lot of people are really excited.
It looks like a fan-drawn, like, fan art picture.
But you got a lot of people that are excited. They're like, oh, I can finally play Star Fox 2. And then that kind of goes into some associated arguments here of emulation, that it's been available for a long time.
If you wanted to play it so bad, why don't you just download it and play it on literally any PC?
Well, this is officially licensed. This is
it's official. It's official emulation. I've heard that. That one blew my mind.
official emulation.
It's sanctioned.
Yeah, but it's a pretty nice. I'm actually pretty surprised with what they decided to put on the SNES Classic.
Yeah, pretty good list. Anyway, I was happy with it too. If there's any doubt, I will be buying this, and I will probably be buying 2 of them so that you can also have one.
Yeah, I mean we're suckers. We, if anybody watches Minor Corpus channel, we know that we eat this crap up, and we're equally a part of the problem with the whole.
Yeah. I'm not against emulation, but I think that's another thing that. Speaking of,
we can't be
overpriced retro games, is I realize emulation is a thing, and that's one thing that keeps me from paying $300 for a game or something like that. Is like, well, if I really want to play it that bad, I can just download it. But as you know, I like to find deals, so that's what makes it super awesome to me when I find a deal on something like that, because I'm not really willing to pay that much for something like that. But yeah, I guess that's all there is to say about that.
It's kind of funny when you go ahead. I thought you were done.
Oh, I am done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's kind of funny when you look at emulation in gaming. I mean, it's essentially just a digital way to play these games that we had. I mean, gaming is like the only area where this thing is, I mean, it's frowned upon by some people, but you look at areas of like music and you have like your vinyl, we had it from vinyl to cassette to CD, now the MP3s. So the way I kind of look at it is like just having an MP3 of the game,
Yeah.
It's just another way to play it.
Exactly.
When it comes to the SNES Mini, first of all, this thing surprised me. I thought everything we were hearing was just rumors. Like, I did not expect this to come out, especially with how the whole NES Classic thing went down and that mess. So I really didn't think they were going to do this again unless they actually were going to go full bore and just support it, which doesn't seem like they're doing, because I think they already said they were going to come out. It's only going to have like a 3-month lifespan. So whatever problems we had with the NES Classic is going to be multiplied now, because now everyone knows it's coming. Now everyone knows they're going to stop making them. Whereas the NES Classic, we weren't sure. We thought there was just this supply coming and going.
Exactly, until it was done with, till no one cared. They were going to keep bringing them out, you thought, but
yeah,
that was a real shame. That was handled badly by Nintendo, but it was also made harder by people scalping the shit out of them. But also, they get bigger shipments than 2 or 3 per store. Like that, they almost might as well have not even bothered sending them.
Yeah,
or put a limit on it.
Who wins here is kind of like how I see it, because the consumer doesn't win. Nintendo wins as a company and as a business decision. It's smart, because look what they're doing. You got September coming around. They're going to drum up hype for the the SNES Mini. They're gonna sell. Nintendo doesn't care Nintendo clearly doesn't care who buys them. Right. They don't care if scalpers are buying them. And when it comes to the scalpers, you can have that whole argument, whether is it immoral or is it people just making, a few extra dollars and seeing opportunity, i.e. capitalism, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
But,
exactly.
it's just, I look at it and it's just kind of a bummer because on the consumer end, the consumers don't win. I mean, I win because people can't get these things and then they want to message me and they want to find out how to build a Raspberry Pi or they want to buy one for me preloaded. So I win regardless. But when it comes to like Jack, who works 3 cubes down, who wants to play Super Mario World with his son, that doesn't know the first thing about emulation, it just kind of sucks because I think that would be a good target market for this type of thing, and those are the people that don't get them.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't really blame the scalpers because they're just doing what they do. They still suck, but I'm blaming the people who are paying $500.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you don't buy them, then scalpers don't have business.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what I mean. Like I'm not willing to pay $5 more than it is in the store. I'm paying retail or less. In my case, it would be less. And if I'm not getting it for that, then I'm not interested. And a lot of people need to show restraint in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta have it. I really want it. I love Super Nintendo. It's my favorite system of all time. But I don't need it so bad that I'm gonna pay 3-4 times what it's worth. I'm just not. And if a lot of people showed the restraint and were like, yeah, well, maybe you just have to wait till you find one. Like, go early. Yeah, it sucks having to go to camp outside a store for 4 hours before they open and whatever. But if you want one that bad, you got to beat the scalpers to it.
Yep.
You got to beat the scalpers to it. And I think it's a lot of the time it's the store's fault for not instilling a one per customer policy.
That's what I was just going to bring up.
It's a big problem that we had at our store. We actually got the most stock that I've heard from any store getting, because I've heard a lot of people at launch day got 5 copies, 8 copies at the most. My store actually got 16 the day it came out, and one guy came in and bought 8 of them.
Yeah.
And they were going immediately up onto eBay.
Yeah, and that's something because I like even still I'll peruse like eBay or the local Facebook shop and I see people with like 20, like a picture of 20 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never even seen one. I still don't even believe this damn thing exists because I've never seen one. I didn't even see a sticker in the store for it. So I'm like, and these guys got 20. Like that's got to come down to either they know somebody, or like you said, stores just simply aren't putting restrictions on how many people get.
Yeah, be first in line, and there's 20 other people behind you, and they've got 20, and you go, "I'll take 20," and then just do ultimate troll face to everyone else in line as you walk out with your cases of them.
That should just be a group beatdown.
Yeah, it's just like ticket scalping, like when people buy up all the seats for a concert. Just 5 seconds after they release them, like
isn't it illegal to scalp tickets? Like,
it's
sporting events.
Depends on states. Minnesota, a few years ago. Well, I guess it's been a good few years. Scalping is a business here. We have companies, and that's what they do. An event goes up, they buy like all the tickets, and then they sell them for way more. It's frustrating.
What band is it that fucked over scalpers? Was it Tool or Chili Peppers or something, where someone's bought all the tickets and tried to scalp them, but then they rendered all those tickets worthless and actually sold the tickets one at a time to people at the show or something?
That might have been Chili Peppers, actually.
Yeah, I remember something like that where they were just like, they're trying to scalp that shit. Sorry, prove that you're not a scalper and you can still get in.
So back onto the SNES Classic, another little bit of information that I think is something to be kind of concerned about is Nintendo said that they will continue to make these through the end of 2017.
So for 3 months.
So pretty much twice the amount of time that they did the NES Classic.
Well, wasn't it like 5 months that they were
Well,
making them?
I don't think they were actually making them though
Oh,
with the
okay, 'cause-
Classic. I think they made their whatever they did the run and then they just trickled them out.
Maybe that's what they did. But dicks. What they should really do is, if you're going to only make them for 3 months, make them available as fuck. Send like
Something.
100 to stores.
Something, you know.
Make it so they end up being on clearance in a few months. You send so much that people are like, "Oh my god, these stupid SNES Classics! No one's buying them." Like they need that a level. If you're only going to put them out for 3 months, put them out for 3 months, and then have so many they have to clear them out.
I don't expect that because that's kind of what I was hoping
Yeah.
the NES Classic was going to be like, and
They will not do that. Yeah,
No.
they will not do that. But it's, they should at least heavily support it, like they never ever do. It's
So-
just Nintendo's thing. It's been a thing for years. Like you look back on just about anything Nintendo's done, and they cannot keep up with demand, and they always act surprised, like we didn't realize people liked us.
Yeah.
Like they're just a new startup company. Like they've just got
Well,
its
it's
first
almost
big hit.
that mentality of the toy company that still lingers because toy companies do this shit
Yeah.
around the holidays. I mean, it's almost like they haven't shed that skin. I mean, maybe that's why they do it. It's just that old mentality coming
Because
through.
because it knows it gets them the publicity, and people
Yep.
still want it. I'm like, I just still harbor the theory that they actually run a couple of eBay stores, and that's where they make the bulk of their money. Where they're like, yeah, we'll put out like 100, but we'll actually scalp the other 400,000 we made.
Yeah.
Like, we'll send 2 to every store, and then we'll sell the most.
Yeah, because
Their employees, like on their lunch breaks, are just like running eBay stores.
right, because that's the thing that, like, especially with the Classic, if you look at like, what you've seen sold and what's available for ridiculous prices, even if they're not selling, like Nintendo is. I mean, it seems like they're just making the decision that we don't want a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a high demand for it. You're giving all the benefit to the scalpers to buy these up and sell them for $200-$250.
I think they're just trying to pull a Disney, where Disney brings out their movie that you've seen 1,000 times, but they can still charge like
We're gonna put it in the vault.
it's $10-$15 more than any other movie, just
Essentially.
because it's only out for like 3 months, and then it goes back in the vault, and you'll be lucky to see it again. I don't know how long I wanted to buy my wife Aladdin on DVD, and then it took so long that it went to, well, I'll get the Blu-ray when it comes out. It was literally like 8 years that I was like, okay, I was looking at them on, Amazon and stuff, and they were like $40-$50, and I was like, well, I can download it, so no, we'll just watch it on the Blu-ray player with a thumb drive.
Yeah.
But I know she loves her Disney movies, so that was like this big thing. I was like, wow. They announced that it was going to come out a bunch of times, and then they just kept going, oh wait, it's the 40th anniversary of this other movie you've seen a million times. So they would just push it back and bring out a different one. So yeah, I think that's what they're doing. They're going to tease you with, oh, you could have all those old games you want because we put out one virtual console game a week
Yeah.
out of our thousands of games.
Well, they don't have any on the Switch yet.
Yeah, nothing on the Switch.
Exactly. Like, and the Wii U, it was just like, come on, bring out some games already. Like, they could literally put out 10 games a week and be running the Switch for 10 years and still not have all their games out. Like,
You know what's funny about the whole thing is Nintendo's really, they really target, emulation, and I think they just had like pretty much all the ROMs pulled, any Nintendo ROM pulled from Emu Paradise.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, it was recently, so you can't even get some of their first-party Nintendo stuff on
I
there.
didn't hear about that.
But they really fuel the fire of emulation. It's like they force the hand of it. If they would
Yeah.
make these things so available, like Jason said, to where you're sick of seeing them,
Right.
you wouldn't have people going out and buying, Raspberry Pis and putting RetroPon. I'm like, dude, I can't even tell you. It was ridiculous. When they announced the NES Classic was canceled, I can't tell you how many people came to me. I was like, hey, man, can you build me a RetroPie with these games on it? And like they just wanted the Mario games, dude. They just wanted the games that were on
I really
NES
want
Classic.
I really want these 30 games. You're like, I could put 500 games on it, and they're like, I'm good, man. Just just the big ones.
Yeah.
I just want Zeldas, maybe if there's room. Like, there's definitely room.
Nintendo really does a good job at creating problems for themselves when it comes to this. I like Nintendo, don't get me wrong, but it's like
I like their products. I just don't like their business products.
For every few things that they do, or for every one thing that they do that's awesome, they'll do like 3 really stupid things. Like you just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they don't, and the fact that they never seem to learn. They're just they're so stubborn with what they do that they just refuse to learn things like, no, I'm doing it right. Okay.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say is, as far as the lineup goes, like compared to, personally, this could be different for other people. They might disagree with me, but it seems like the lineup that they put on the NES Classic compared to the lineup that they put on the SNES Classic, like they really went like buck wild with the SNES Classic.
Solid lineup. That is an A+ lineup. I mean, you're going to always have a few titles. Well, but they don't have, was it
Chrono Trigger?
No Chrono Trigger. Yeah.
No Final Fantasy 2, no Chrono Trigger, no Turtles in Time. That's the big ones I've ever heard. But, I mean,
good Lord.
All I ever say whenever someone comments that, I go, yeah, just wait a week until it's hacked, and then you can have it all.
And that's actually one thing I'm really hoping that they didn't go back and remove that port, which I can't imagine they did, because that's going to be your power port. Unless they try to do some sort of like mod that disables access, but if you can plug in a cord and still get a connection to the system, somebody is going to figure out a way to hack it.
Yeah.
You know what I believe?
Hopefully there's a lot of space available. That's the other thing is,
okay, well, they're such pricks, and they don't make such a small amount of these, that to be good guy Nintendo at least a little bit, go, you know what? If you can manage to get a hold of one of these fucking things, have at her, buddy.
Yeah.
Put it all on there. We're going to make the chip good enough to handle N64 too, because we're not going through this again. like, I don't know. They should just leave it. And maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe stop doing these cease and desists and start enabling these people to build these, and maybe give them a deal where you release it on the virtual console. Like when people remake the Pokemon games or make the, Metroid 2 remake that they made and all that shit, like just leave it be, and maybe see how, if it's any good, try it out. And if you like what you see, maybe give them a deal. Pay them for their work instead of going, hey, quit liking what we do and trying to do what we do. That's like beating up your little brother for wanting to be like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if they would make something like this and just throw like put like virtual console access on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even
cool.
Even have something like a cart that comes out that you can upgrade, and you can buy the 20 more games to go in it.
Yeah.
Like a 3DS sized cart that's got 10 games, and you can just buy it and slip it in there, like in the back or in the top port. Make it a little Super Nintendo game.
Yep.
That would be great.
Yeah. So, I guess unless you guys have any other final thoughts here.
I did think going back to what you kind of touched on, Church, early on with and as far as every YouTuber making a video, it was kind of funny because if for any of you guys listening, I know Corpse Flood and Church, you guys followed Down Phoenix, but he did a really good collab video of just kind of a parody that same day of everyone just running on Facebook or YouTube and making these videos. But I probably have watched it not even probably at least 10 times and just laugh every time.
Yeah, it's great. Like what I would say my least favorite fact about this coming out is that I actually messaged Church as soon as I found it, like it had just been announced. I think I was probably the first person to tell you about it even, and was like, well, the only bummer is that our game groups are going to be ruined for about 6 months of people going, freaking scalpers, look at this. like, yeah, we've seen people trying to charge $200 for that, and people complaining, blah 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 blah, and just bitch posts. I want to go back to my happy game groups where people are just like, I like video games. Hey, I like video games. Let's be friends.
Yeah, for sure.
But when something comes out like this, the just the backlash and the outlet, they just need to make a hate group for that and just go, okay, yeah, just go over to this page and just hate on it, because we want to talk about other stuff. We want to talk about pickups or what games are coming out that look good. We don't want to just bitch about the same thing. There's still people bitching about the NES Mini.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
if anybody hasn't seen the video we're talking to, it's called Every SNES Classic Reaction Video Ever by Down Phoenix.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
So then I guess with that said, we'll go into kind of some of our little closing bits of the podcast here. So normally we just like to talk about some upcoming games that are being released in the next couple weeks, which actually there's not a whole lot coming out. There's a few things.
Yeah, there's a couple cool things that have just come out or will be coming out.
We're kind of in the dead zone right now in the middle of summer. It's where I get all my backlog taken care of before the tidal wave of $60 games that I have to buy come fall.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, that's pretty much. I'm glad that's actually sticking around this year, because like we talked about before, usually there's a dead zone right after Christmas too, but this year they just came out of the gates swinging.
Yeah. Well, the Crash Trilogy just came out.
Yes.
Yeah, right Friday. Yeah. I got a friend who's got it, and he's just excited, and actually messaged Church to ask him, like, so what do you feel about the Crash games anyway? I know he's a big PlayStation guy, and I had a PlayStation when they were new and stuff, and I was like, I don't hate them, but I don't think I've ever actually played all the way through one. I've played pretty far in a couple of them, but I might pick this up eventually, and I'm no Crash hater, but
yeah, I'll say when I moved on to the PlayStation 1 is at the same time I kind of moved away from sort of like the mascot platformers to a large extent. Like I played stuff here and there, like rentals or demos and things like that, like Crash, like even like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter. Like I haven't played like any of those games to any extent.
Well,
they all look fun though.
I owe Ratchet and Clank to my brother. My brother had a couple of those games on the PS2, and that's when I still lived at home. So I watched him play a bunch of those, and it kind of got me into those. But for the most part, you know, when you're a teenager, you think you've like grown out of that stuff to a certain point, but nah, that Crash is one of the best at what he did. So
yeah,
that's why I said I don't hate on him at all. They're a solid game.
It's a different style of platformer too for that generation.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, it's still kind of linear, but not.
It was almost like a temple run-ish game, where you had to like run. There's obstacles, but you had to keep moving quickly. And I think it's that kind of game I really like to. And but yeah, I don't know. I might pick it up and give Crash another go, because it's definitely a game that needed to be remastered. It's not something that was out last gen. We're looking at 3 gens ago. What else is new? The Dead by Daylight, as I mentioned, had come out last week too, or about a week and a half ago.
That's about it, really.
Yeah, not much. The Marvel Heroes.
Good time for backlog.
That game I mentioned is actually coming out on Xbox One. The Marvel Heroes Omega came out Friday, it looks like. So it must be on Xbox One now. Maybe it was just the beta and stuff was available only on the PS4. So that's cool. Maybe I'll check that out on the Xbox as well.
Cool.
Yeah, not
Xbox
really a whole lot.
They've got a good sale going on right now. So
yes.
I just picked up Ori actually last night. It was the definitive edition for $10, man.
Sweet.
So I can't wait. I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, I'm guilty of not checking that out, but I've meant to for a while. A new Kirby game's coming out. I've not heard anything about. Kirby's Blowout Blast 3DS is coming out later this week. Might be worth a check out.
What is that on the 3DS?
Yeah, 3DS, Kirby's
Okay.
Blow Up Blast. I've never heard a thing about it. Usually they're pretty good at advertising their own franchises, but
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 12 is coming out soon too. The Zodiac Age re-release or remaster. Yeah, but that's about it. Nah,
About
kind of
it.
slim pickings.
Yeah, it looks like things will start to pick up towards the end of July and definitely into August when
But
some releases coming up. So I guess then with that said, we can kind of move into closing things out here. So I know John has to get going here. So let's real quick just mention gaming plans, any particular gaming plans or things you're looking forward to in the next couple weeks coming up, John?
Yeah, I should probably have Dune beaten within a week. I think it's only like a 11-hour game, I think, from what I read. So that's a short game, which I like. I find myself liking the shorter games lately with being so busy because I might get like an hour a night.
Yes.
So the kids go to bed. The wife usually falls asleep on the couch, after watching an episode of, Orange is the New Black or something like that. And
exactly where I'm at.
Then I've got to throw an hour or two of gaming in to unwind.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna play some Doom. I should have that done, and then I got the Nathan Drake series. I'm gonna try and complete that as well as Uncharted 4 before summer finishes up, and then probably start buying some more games.
Like the new Uncharted.
Yeah, I haven't played. Well, I've never played any of the Uncharted games yet.
Yeah, like I mentioned just a while ago, I actually just started on the collection a little while ago too, and I was loving it.
Yeah, I can't wait. But that's about it game-wise. And then, the channel, I do want to wrap up games I beat in June and kind of do a little God of War discussion on there.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be good.
I'll have that uploaded within the next couple days.
Badass.
Excellent.
Definitely a worthy series.
Yeah. So how about you, Corpse Flood?
Gonna
try.
I'm shooting for the stars. I'm hoping to have some time. I'm fighting for some time.
Yeah.
And I'm really gonna get going on some games because it's getting very depressing how little of time I got going. But I'm actually working on a pretty good deal for something I've been wanting for a while. Something we discussed in our last podcast.
Yes.
And I'll have more with that on our next podcast.
Excellent.
Very, very excited. But besides that, I'm gonna try and kind of scale back on the pickups big time because I want to get my computer built by the end of summer.
Oh, right on.
So I can start doing gameplay recording and all that good stuff and have just a better rig in general for my YouTube stuff and all things related to this hobby. All right, Church, what you got going on, buddy?
Pretty much what I've been doing. It's going to be more Horizon, more Friday the 13th. I think I probably should take advantage of having a legit cartridge of Shantae and actually play the game.
You've got to play it.
So I'm definitely going to squeeze in some playthrough of that just so I have my own save file on there.
You gotta do it at work while pooping. Obviously, it's a mobile game. You can bring your Game Boy and
right.
That's the best way. Yeah, that's you getting paid to game, buddy.
Yes.
Don't pass that up.
So, I guess with that said, then I would like to just run through how you can go ahead and get a hold of us. So, John, would you like to let people know how they could reach you or find your channel if they would like to do that?
Yeah, you can find me on the Retro Bro on YouTube. You can do if you're curious about the Raspberry Pis that we have, just retrobrogaming.com. But yeah, I'm usually around. You could search Retro Bro, YouTube, or pretty much wherever, and I should come up.
I think I'll be contacting you soon after the computer is built, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, let me know if you go on, like I said, retrobrogaming.com. There's like 3 different options you have right now. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Something for everybody. So then, for anybody who is listening to us on SoundCloud, of course, as always, you can look on the right side. You can see the links to our YouTubes, Twitter, Facebook, We also have Sir Flynn One's links up as well, so you can get a hold of him. If you are listening to us on YouTube or would like to listen to this on YouTube, you can look him up. Just look up the Game Tenants Podcast. I'm hosting him on my channel, and of course, links will of course be in the description as always.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And of course, as I'd mentioned, we would like to do kind of like a community comments spotlight. So feel free to throw, questions, comments, pretty much anything, and
Suggested topics. Something you
come
want
out
to hear
there.
us do a convo on, we'd be happy to do it. Also, if you want to be maybe a future guest, get at us.
Yeah.
That could be an idea too.
Excellent. So, of course, then, John, I want to say thank you very much for making the time to
thanks for
join
having me
us.
on.
I know we've been talking about doing this for a little while now, so I'm glad to finally make it happen.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what comes in the future for the Game Tenants Podcast, man. I'm very excited for the future.
Yes.
Thank you. We're excited to hear that. Yeah, it's good to hear we have a loyal follower too. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, every bit counts.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It was great to meet you. It's my first time meeting you, so.
Absolutely, guys. Well, hey, you guys have a good one. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. So, for everybody else, of course, as always, thank you very much for listening. Hit us up. We'll get back to you. We'll talk about some things, talk about some vidya.
We will.
Yes. Excellent. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Bye.